is basically an economic garbage, this budget. It does not inspire anyone. There is nothing in here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you the external debt that we are not paying. Mr. Speaker, we owe the Chinese 1.9 billion, which we are not paying. We owe the Paris Club 2 billion, which we are not paying. We owe the Paris Club 3.8 billion, which we are not paying. Mr. Speaker, we owe Templeton 2.5 billion, which we are not paying. Mr. Speaker, with multilateral debt, we owe 8.8. Ghana is not the highest when it comes to multilateral debt in Africa. We owe the most, 8.8 billion, and we are not paying. Mr. Speaker, Eurobond, which my friend mentioned, we owe Eurobond 14.9 billion, which we are not paying. The Eurobond that is due now, due in August, we haven't paid it. Mr. Speaker, we have done 17 Eurobond tranches in this country since we started doing Eurobond in President Akufo's time. Mr. Speaker, from President Akufo to President Mills to President Mahama, 16 years, we did 4 billion Eurobond. That's 4 of them. Mr. Speaker, under this government, we have done 12 tranches of Eurobond. 12! In 7 years. We did 4 in 16 years. Mr. Speaker, to a tune of $11 billion. This is how much we owe, and we are not paying. Mr. Speaker, let me give you a picture here. And what they've done. Mr. Speaker, sorry. This government intentionally did certain bond with the intention of never paying. Intentionally did certain bond with the intention of never paying. And let me tell you why. Mr. Speaker, Eurobonds are usually done for a period of 10 to 15 years. That's why the Eurobond done on the Akufo was done for 10 years, 750. NDC made provision for that bond to be paid. We paid 250 before we left office. The remaining 500, we have put money in the sinking fund to pay, which they used in paying this. The one that is due, they haven't paid. Mr. Speaker, they did Eurobond in 2018. May 2018. That Eurobond is supposed to basically expire in 2048. For 30 years, instead of the 10, 15 years. Mr. Speaker, this is all the Eurobonds we've done in this country. 17. Mr. Speaker, in 2019, they did another Eurobond in some tranches for 31 years. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, one of the tranches of Eurobond that we did matures in 2061. Mr. Speaker, that's for 41 years. Mr. Speaker, in 2021, they did an Eurobond in March 2021, which is supposed to mature in 2041. That's 20 years. Mr. Speaker, they know they won't be around to pay this. And that is the reason why they've started not actually paying. Mr. Speaker, this is the situation that we are in. We have been swallowed by debt. Swallowed by debt, yet we are not paying. Yet they have written a budget here. They say they've turned the corner. But at the same time, they say they are not out of the woods yet. Mr. Speaker, if you turn the corner in the woods, you are lost. That's what this budget is. This government is completely lost. They are incompetent. Their performance is abysmal. Yes. Mr. Speaker, they know they won't be around to pay this. And that is the reason why they've started not actually paying. Mr. Speaker, this is the situation that we are in. We have been swallowed by debt. Swallowed by debt, yet we are not paying. Yes, they have written a budget here. They say they've turned the corner. But at the same time, they say they are not out of the woods yet. Mr. Speaker, if you turn the corner in the woods, you are lost. That's what this budget is. This government is completely lost. They are incompetent. Their performance is abysmal. And they won't listen. They have brought all of us here to this budget. Mr. Speaker, if this were to be a handing over note to the NDC, this is a very poor handing over note. This is the legacy of this government. This is what they are leaving behind. Mr. Speaker, you ask them what they use the money for, they will tell you, oh, flagship programs, planting for food and jobs, 1D, 1F. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the industrial, the 1D, 1F, this is the picture of the 1D, 1F. Mr. Speaker, I'll hand this over to you. This is the picture of 1D, 1F. Ghana is the only country where the more industries we set up. They claim 169. The less we perform when it comes to industry. Mr. Speaker, the numbers here are negative. And I will tell this in. Mr. Speaker, the story is not different from planting for food and jobs. You can see it in inflation. You can see it in GDP. It tells the story. The contribution of food to GDP is been declining. When you go to inflation, the bulk of our inflation is food inflation. So what is it that this country is planting? That the more they plant, the less they harvest. The more this government plants, the less they harvest. Mr. Speaker,